Yeah.
What is that? Well, did you say bubble butt?
Bubble butt.
Bubble butt?
Hey, Dank!
No, you completely forgot the format. And I had a new format for this, but...
Okay, do your new format.
Back like we took a week off.
Oh, shit.
It's Coke and Dank. Dank and... It's the lethal weapons.
If you don't know, we took some time off because
we missed a week.
our co-host here... Yeah, we missed a week, I know.
Yeah. If they don't know is what you're saying.
Yeah, if you don't
Oh, I thought they knew. Well, they were clamoring.
The 4 fans we have...
I've never got so many one comments of, hey, did you guys forget to post?
Did you get that? I got a couple of those, too. It's pretty funny.
Did you forget to post? It's like, yeah, we didn't forget. I was just in my deathbed.
Hey, Dank!
Hey, Coke.
Let me ask you something.
Hit you.
What rolls downstairs, alone or in pairs, and over your neighbor's dog?
Is it Slinky?
No, what's great for a snack and fits on your back?
It's gotta be Slinky.
It's log, log, log!
Log, 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 log. Everyone
Sandy,
loves
it's
a
wood.
log.
It's it. It's big, it's heavy, it's wood. It's better than bad, it's good.
Which is a great saying. It's better than bad, it's good.
Everyone's better than bad, it's
I think
good.
we should steal that for a comic patrol. It's better than bad.
Fuck, we should.
It's good.
Oh, fuck, it's good. In case you don't know what that song is from,
You have no happy or joy in your life.
just turn it off. I don't want you listening to the rest
No,
of
no, no.
this.
Turn it on. Restart it. Actually, exit out. Log back in. Download again. Don't listen to Coke. He's been drinking. We want your attention. We're talking about the infamous.
Ren, Hoek, and Stimpson J.Cat.
That's weird that Ren has a, I guess, normal last name, but Stimpy's just
Stimpson
Cat.
J.Cat.
I mean, I love the J.
That's pretty cool.
There's a lot of famous cartoon J's out there. We're not going to do that for you.
No.
But again, we're talking about an
Stimpson.
amazing, a trend-setting, a generational kind of... This is... If there's any claim to the Generation Xers, it's this cartoon. You can have it, own it, and I will borrow it and steal it because I don't get to fall into Gen X. But
yeah,
this helped shaped a generation and then preceding generations to follow.
Yeah, this is a trailblazer of a show.
Yeah.
Debuted in 1991.
Which doesn't make sense to you and I because we thought it was way earlier
I thought
than
it was
that.
earlier than that, yeah.
Alongside
Rugrats and Doug, which are the Nickelodeon OG3.
Because I can distinctly remember watching Doug, and I can distinctly remember Rugrats.
But Ren Stimpy feels older. It definitely
does.
I think
totally does.
I think maybe it's because of how taboo it was to watch. Like,
yep.
So Doug was for kind of tweeners. Rugrats was for the younger audience,
Everybody.
and then Ren Stimpy was for if you're older. Like
Yeah.
it was
You
as a
could-
kid, it was like
if you could
it's a
stay
faux
up,
pas.
because it wasn't slotted in the Saturday morning
No.
cartoons. You
No.
either you were catching this on an off day or at a late night, essentially. But definitely counterculture to Looney Tunes. It's in the
Yes.
same vein
Yeah.
as Looney Tunes, and copies a lot of the same tropes.
Yep.
But then decided along the way, like, no, we can do it
It'd be fucking
better
weird too. Yeah.
and weirder, and yes.
So created by John Crickfalusi in 1978.
The first and last time we're going to say his name.
I was going to say, I don't want to get too much into his background because he's an alleged piece of shit. But amazing animator.
He's a Ren.
Yeah. Amazing animator, but he has got some serious allegations against his name.
He's got some hang-ups.
Yeah, a bit of an issue. So we're not going to get too much into him, but we are going to talk about his creation, this show, which is fucking amazing.
Which still stands the test of time.
Yeah, so he made it in 78, apparently for kicks at Sheridan College.
Shout-outs to Canadian Sheridan.
Yeah, which is cool.
Sheridan's terrible, but it's Canadian.
Ren was based on an Elliot Erwitt photo of a sweatered chihuahua.
Which is hilarious.
Snippy was based on a Tweety Bird cartoon with the gruesome twosome, where there was giant cats that...
Which I watch it. They have a giant nose in it, and you can kind of see where he pulled all of his kind of influences to create Stimpy,
Yeah, the look of him. So, and then his voice was based on Larry Fine from Three Stooges,
which is amazing.
which is amazing, and you can see it. Ren was based on Peter Lorre.
Which
If you watch YouTube clips, you can see it.
you'll get it. If you've ever seen Casablanca,
Yeah, there you go.
that's what. But again, that character is featured a lot in Looney Tunes as well. Like,
Yes.
Peter has always been kind of a larger than life animated character that someone in the animated world was like, we need you in our world, and they've done that. Ren and Stimpy just took it to the nth degree and made a character kind of behind him.
This show is something else. I imagine anybody listening to this has heard of Ren and Stimpy. If you've never watched it, it's incredible. It's something like you'll never watch again. The animation is just amazing. One of the things, I know we're not going to talk about John K too much, but one of the things that he preached was that there was no repeat animations. Everything had its own thing. So we've talked about Spider-Man cartoons in the past, the 90s version. You know, it's the same animation from... Right. That wasn't allowed in the show. Every frame was drawn.
And that sounds like standard for any kind of operating cartoon, but the fact is that they still were operating under the Flintstones mentality of like, anything happening in the background doesn't matter. It's all about foreground. So you would expect them to just keep reusing background scenes when they're transitioning from point A to point B, but they're not. They're new, essentially.
Yep.
And that gave it another strength to what's happening in the foreground, which was always paid the most attention to.
Yes.
And you can see that. There's a lot of... It's either a one-shot of what the punchline is going to be, or a two-shot between the two characters, or whichever third character they introduce. There's not a lot of playing around with like landscape shots or overhead.
Not too much. The landscape, the background's pretty mute most of the time.
The comedic setup for animation style, just animation style, is very much set up, punchline, set up, punchline, set up, punchline, and it works perfectly for that.
Yep.
That's just one level of how many funny ways they tried to be funny in this cartoon, and like hopefully we get to go through all of them. You were talking about the animation style.
Yeah.
I want to go into just the comedy in terms of this is essentially a adult comic that was aimed at young minds.
Yeah.
Because
it's interesting. Go ahead.
Everything around it seems like this is aimed for children because it was a Nickelodeon show. It's cartoon medium. You have these. We didn't talk about Billy West yet, who's an amazing voice. This is like one of his first roles, and you can see like kind of the love kind of push through with who he infuses Stimpy to be, and even the sounds of the characters, both Ren and Stimpy, sound like they're aimed for children. But everything that they're talking about, other than boogers and farts, is definitely has a adult kind of hammerhead like punch to it that you don't realize when you're fucking 6'5".
No, you don't.
7, 8.
You don't.
The fact that we're still laughing at things that are aimed at adults now that we're adults is even crazier for the show. Because clearly,
I watched as a kid.
We didn't know that when
like my childhood best friend Jordan and I, he recorded everything on VHS tapes.
Ooh.
The whole thing, and we watched it in like a weekend.
Good lord.
We just binged it multiple times. Like that's. I didn't get half this shit.
And you were hooked.
It's because the animation itself is hilarious.
There's so much going for it that I don't know if anyone's actually done the deep dive to it. Because not only do they have the adult content that's aimed at the children, and the animation style, which is unto itself. Like, you've never seen anything, or we've never seen anything like this to this point.
And how they do the whole, they'll do the freeze frame where it looks like a painting, where it's extremely detailed.
Right.
And that's incredible. Like,
well, that's the sight gags too, right?
Yeah.
They'll set up for the punchline and it'll be like, oh yeah, but my teeth hurt, and then they'll do the close up of the teeth.
And it's like a painting with extreme detail.
And so much depth in the painting. Like, it's the grossest teeth you've ever seen.
Yeah.
But the fact that they'll hold on that picture for like 6 seconds for you to like soak in what's going on. They really loved the 2-shot frames, so you're getting everything from Ren and Stimpy's perspective. They weren't wasting times with all these you were never getting more in the frame than what you needed for the joke, which is amazing. And the sound effects. The sound effects were so fucking on point for everything, like opening doors, like and the ones that you wouldn't even realize. The fact that if you remove them, the cartoon wouldn't have the same gravity as it was. And the fact that things were so random in this world. So like a horse would randomly show up and start talking. You know?
Yeah, Mr.
Like,
yeah.
And then you get the truffle, the whatever sound that a horse makes. Like they jam packed it as many funny things into a frame of cartoon as possible. That it was just like mind-blowing as a child.
Yeah.
Because you were laughing at so many different things, not realizing how many things you're actually taking in.
And then it would cut randomly for these ads, like these built-in ads that weren't real. Like the whole log intro. That was an actual thing.
The insanity of log, but how many people wanted a log at the end of that?
It's so stupid, but it's hilarious.
And then like maybe one of the first cartoons that were meta, because it literally just told you like, we can sell you anything and you'll want it based on the commercial. That's nothing to do with the product, right? Because they were dressing up a log as, I have some of the listings of it. So this was the action log. It had facial moss. Then they had log of Arabia, officer log, athletic log, cheerleader log, sergeant of the Yukon log, agent 00 log, lion tamer log. For the girls, they had the singing log.
The log that wet itself? The baby log?
The baby wedding log. Log from Mars. Armchair and quarterback adventure place log. As well as log authentic, Civil War, first aid station god. Damn log. Like, they went... And that's them building the joke, right? So, like, the first few logs are hilarious. But they're building you all the way to get to the authentic Civil War first aid doctor log.
It's ridiculous.
And they show a kid with a saw hacking off a limb of what they would have to do in the Civil War. Like, oh, goddamn. Like, goddamn. Squeeze in more jokes, please. Good lord. So, and I don't even think that's as many ways that they squeezed in. Like, the stories were... Either they were taking them straight from lore. Like, they had the Robin Hood fantasies.
Yep. Yeah, they twist things up, yeah.
Or they just went on specific, or like they had their Yukon of the Mountie, which was the goddamn what's the name? The Royal Canadian Kilted Yaxman, which is actually one of my favorite episodes because it's hilarious and completely farcical in its sense. But the A to Z of what they would entail going through, because typically they're signing up to do something.
Yeah,
they just need an adventure, and you would see their personalities kind of splinter, and what. I can't remember what the episode was called, but it was essentially they were both bellhops.
Right, yeah.
And Stimpy took the job so seriously that he would not... Outside there's a garbage can of a paparazzo who's trying to get them to take the camera and go in there and take pictures of a celebrity. Stimpy's like, no, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
I can't. I've taken the oath. I'm all about this job. Great. Stimpy goes out there. Ren goes out there and he's like, "I'll give you $5. $5."
Yeah, he's just...
and then you learn that the currency in the show is $5. $5 gets
everything.
Paid. Everything is $5, which is hilarious in itself. But he's so quick to sell it for $5. Takes a picture of the celery and it turns out to be a head. So like the whole show completely changes on its on its ass halfway through it. Like they're always throwing you for another punch that you couldn't expect. You thought it was going one way and it goes another way. And they had all these other things working for them. It was insane that this show got made.
With this show, you can never expect what's coming. It's always left field shit. You'll never... Just hold on and enjoy the ride, because it's fucking wild. Did we talk... So, it did debut in 91.
Correct.
August 11th, 91 with Rugrats and Doug. But the pilot was shopped around in 89.
Yeah, pilot.
Yeah. I think isn't that pilot? What a fucking idiot.
He said pilot. Weird.
It's good. John K. only lasted 2 seasons. He apparently was a jerk to work with, and he never had things ready on time. So Nickelodeon ended up axing him.
Which it's hilarious because different properties make jokes about that.
Yeah.
Simpsons always made a joke about Ren and Stimpy getting nominated for an Emmy.
That's right.
And the shot that they were supposed to use...
It's not ready yet.
It's not ready yet, so hilarious job to them.
And that's part because John K. took shots at Simpson. He took shots at Animaniacs. This guy was just...
Anyone is fair game.
Yeah, he's nuts.
And then full circle, years later, John K. would end up creating an intro for The Simpsons in the Ren and Stimpy.
It's funny how that works out, eh?
Yeah, well, after time heals all wounds,
yeah.
Right? So it was funny that he had already established these are the guys that I'm after, and Simpsons are like, you're after us, but you're not even ready to come at us, right? So
no. So there was actual, we talked about the ads, but there's actually other, there's side characters that go along with Ren and Stimpy, which I want to mention now just in case we don't later on.
Yeah, there's a lot that we still gotta get through.
Well, there's 3 then well, 4 actually in specific that I want to talk to. Money Mud Skipper.
The fish?
It's just the fish, dude. He was an actual real fish. A mud skipper is a real fish.
And he was muddy.
That he could run.
He was like a villain fish, too.
He was like a villain fish, yeah. And he was just they would slot him in randomly. Mr. Horse.
Amazing.
the most prominent side character in the show. Yes. He was in a lot of things. His catchphrase, "No, sir, I don't like it."
In the most serious tone, too. Like, you're looking at a horse deliver this line, it's like, I believe him.
They had the one where they were comparing kitty litter for him. Right? And this is the, itty bitty kitty litter. There's a big ad throughout the show, and he'd have to smell the kitty litter after it was soiled.
Yeah.
"No, sir, I don't like it." And then the other one would be like, "Oh, this is great." He's hilarious just because of the way he. First of all, he's a fucking talking horse.
Yeah. What's not to love?
Not a like a humanoid horse, just a horse that stands on its hind legs.
Yep.
And his facial reaction was always so funny. When they're going door to door, and he's like, I'm making faces.
The facial expressions in the show are, again, that's another. Finish your list of
incredible.
Yeah. Before you get into that stuff.
George Liquor is another one I want to touch on. He's not in a lot of episodes, but good God, is he funny.
He almost took the series down, to be honest with you.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
We'll get into that later.
We'll get into later. And the fourth one I want to talk about is my favorite, Powdered Toast Man.
Powdered Toast Man!
Whenever he shows up, that happens. He's always like, "Powdered Toast
Man."
He just has to announce his whole name. Like
he was Instagram before Instagram. He left it alone. Yeah. He's in the building.
And he's such a play on the superhero idea. It's so funny. He gets called for the most ridiculous. First of all, he's a man with a superhero body with a cape and everything, and his head is powdered toast. It's two pieces of powdered
French toast. Yes, correct.
With a face on it.
Correct.
But he takes his job super seriously. And they call him for the most ridiculous things,
and they call him in such different ways.
Yeah,
like, he doesn't have just a bat phone.
No.
In one episode, his underwear inflates to let him know that he has to go. Yeah. He's got like a phone in his tongue that he uses. Like they keep turning their own show on its head, which is fucking amazing. Especially for a kid who's just looking for more. You're never bored with this kind of shit. Hey kids, have you ever walked down an aisle and not known how to choose or what to put it in?
Whoa!
Well, now you, from our makers of Slugco, you got our brand new Coke and Dank shopping cart.
Shopping.
With your low price of $999, you too can have your own shopping cart to go down the aisle. Can't wait? Get it now from Slugco. Yeah, gross shit is hilarious, which is what we figured out.
Yeah.
And in the right hands, it's fucking phenomenal. Because they talked about more boogers, things on your back, farts. From your nose, farts, poops.
Smells. Remember when Red lost all his teeth? And the flies on the litter box are like, "Hey, we're trying to eat over here. Are you trying to make us sick?"
Or Stimpy births a fart and he treats it like a son.
That's right.
Oh my god! They took grossity to such a next level where you would think it'd be. Like, your parents don't understand anything about you if you love this show.
Yes.
And if you love this show, you instantaneously have friends for life because
it's such a uniting TV show.
Yeah, it brought you together and seemingly with so much chaos happening behind the scenes, like with all this talent going on behind.
Yeah, there was a lot of nonsense, but we touched on a little bit, but yeah, there was a lot of nonsense.
Well, let's go into now. Like, we're talking about J.K. got to play Ren, but
John K. was Ren, yeah.
The amazing and legendary status of Billy West was playing Stimpy. And Billy West has played Fry for Futurama. Could we go through the roster or something? He's played Doug. He's played... we're looking for the IMDb page of how many things Billy West has done after the fact. Like, I don't know if Ren and Stimpy was his first, but it was definitely his launching pad.
Well, he did Doug and Stimpy simultaneously, and they were basically his first. He did another thing on the New Adventures of Beanie and Cecil. I don't know what that is.
Not good enough.
No, but Doug and Ren and Stimpy were his first. He did some work on Earthworm Jim, Dexter's Laboratory,
awesome,
Cow and Chicken, I Am Weasel, The Weird Al Show, Extreme Ghostbusters,
awesome,
King of the Hill,
awesome,
Hysteria, Voltron, The Powerpuff Girls,
awesome,
Cat Dog,
awesome,
Queer Duck, I don't know what that is, but
sounds awesome. I haven't seen it.
Detention,
awesome,
Rayman the Animated Series, which is a video game, Dilbert,
awesome,
The New Woody Woodpecker Show,
awesome,
Futurama, like you said,
awesome.
Baby Felix, Horrible Histories, The Oblongs, Totally Spies, Jackie Chan Adventures,
awesome.
The Adventures of Jimmy Neutron,
awesome,
Duck Dodgers,
awesome,
Invader Zim,
awesome,
Justice League Unlimited,
awesome,
The Life and Times of Juniper Lee,
fascinating.
Lunatics Unleashed, Ben 10, Drawn Together.
Awesome.
Squirrel Boy, Chowder.
Awesome.
The Marvelous Misadventures of Flapjack, The Mighty Bee, Random Cartoons, Batman the Brave and the Bold.
Awesome.
Jungle Junction. I'm skipping things here too, by the way.
Yeah, and you could stop there. Like, that's just talking about how much of a launching pad Stimpy was for this man. This man became a legend. This man became a legend off of this.
Ultimate Spider-Man, The Simpsons.
He's still going.
Adventure Time.
He's still going.
The Stinky and Dirty Show. Star versus the Force of Evil. Keep talking. Go ahead.
Do Robot I need Chicken, to keep talking?
Samurai Jack. Wacky Races.
I've fallen asleep and woken up.
Happy. Disenchantment.
Oh yeah, and Disenchantment just dropped again. So like again, Billy West.
Those are not including, by the way, movies and video games. That's just TV shows.
So he to have that voice start here.
Yeah.
Is so seminal. And we were saying before you even rolled, like the fact that the parallels between John Kay and Billy West and their characters kind of fed through in life, because John Kay was definitely voicing a pessimistic, greedy, kind of self-absorbed character in Ren.
A prick.
Yes. And Stimpy, voiced by Billy West, was so the optimist and the believer and the happy joy, like the one that could believe that there's more to life and there's more to live for than $5. And the fact that his life has shown him more than $5 and John Kay has not is kind of ironic and definitely hilarious.
And he's tried to make other shows that just are not happening.
Well, there was another John Kay show that it was the exact same. They were like superheroes. They're all living in a house. It was short lived. I remember it lasted for a season, but I couldn't stop laughing at it. Because it just kept bringing me back to Ren and Stimpy. I kept thinking, there's something familiar about this. And you couldn't put your head on it, other than the animation style.
Yeah, well, so like we talked about, he was fired after... This show went on for 5 seasons. He was fired after 2.
Right.
So those are actually, as much as we talk shit about him, those were the 2 best seasons because of his contribution to it, right?
That show was the Ripping Friends.
Ripping Friends, okay.
Which I fucking loved.
Seasons 3, 4, 5 are still decent, but they're not as good as the first 2 because they're missing his creative edge. They're
missing all the lightning in the bottle. You had Billy West when he was cheap, and John Kay when he was a controllable substance.
Yeah, and this show came back in 2003 with the lost episodes. Billy West was not a part of it. I guess because he read the script and realized it wasn't good, because it isn't good. It was way more raunchy, way more pushing the limits.
They forgot that it was still a children's cartoon.
Yeah,
they went all for it.
The reason why this show, in my opinion, succeeded on Nickelodeon is because of the restrictions it had. So it was up to the creators to push those restrictions without going over them.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? And that's what created the charm. When it came back out on, I think it was Spike,
right,
or whatever, it didn't have those same restrictions. So it lost its charm.
Let me ask you this question on Spike, because I'm not sure if you know. Did it also have the same soundtrack? Because this incarnation that we're talking about now definitely played classical music.
I was going to mention that too.
Beethoven and Brahms and all these things that you would not kind of be introduced to in any other cartoon.
Every episode had some sort of classical.
And just it gave it such a levity and like a polish.
Yeah.
It's one thing to see a show about a cat and dog making fun of farts all the time, but to hear that over a Beethoven classical piece changes the entire nature of the joke and makes it even more funny. So I don't know if Spike had that, but that was definitely going back. I was like, this is some good music that they're playing here.
Yes, the Spike version only aired 3 episodes. That's how long it lasts. 2 or 3, and that was it. And the whole season entailed about 6 or 7. That's how bad it was.
Yeah. Because
it was just too on the nose, and it lost its charm. And plus, it was 2003, so you're talking years later.
Right.
It wasn't a time for Ren and Stimpy anymore, especially that version of it. And you could always assume that they were a gay couple to begin with.
Right.
This one was just
flat out.
They're not only gay, but ththey're just way
they're just hammering.
Yeah, and it's
and that's the charm you're missing from the original, which was always seemed as like a fairy tale of scenario with simplicity, but these 2 characters are thrown in it. So as long as you have kind of raunchy, kind of innocent characters in this fairy tale world, you can bend it. Yeah. But if you throw raunchy characters into just a madness playground, it's not the same.
I keep saying it, but it lost its charm, and that's basically what he was living on because it was so gross and so animated that charm held it all together.
I mean, we're talking about don't whiz on the electric fence.
So funny, by the way. Oh, I guess you guys whiz on the electric fence. Huh?
Like that's the things that they slide into.
Can we talk about episodes, like specific episodes?
We have to talk about episodes.
We have to.
You have your favorite. Let's say top 4. I have my favorite top 4, maybe.
Yeah, okay.
Those,
we can
those
do that.
vary
Sure.
out. You want to go like 4?
In no specific order. I'm just gonna knock them off in no specific order.
Well, then you're gonna talk about each. Okay, just tell me what you got, because I think there's some carryover, but not a lot.
There should be. The most We'll start with the most probably the most popular episode, which would be Stimpy's Invention. So season 1, episode 12. I think I remember. Yeah, Stimpy's Invention, where he builds a. Well, hang on. Let me break it down a little bit more than that.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess you do.
He wants Ren to try his inventions, and he has a bunch lined up. The first one being a phone that lets you talk to cheese.
Which makes perfect sense. Preferably soft cheeses.
Of course, Red's having none of it. Yeah, soft cheese, new meats,
cheese.
by the way. The second one being a remote control shaver, which is also invisible. So he has a remote control that ends up shaving Ren down, right? Hilarity ensues.
Of course.
This third invention is stay put socks. Huh? And those are socks that you put on and they won't fall down.
They stay put.
And Ren is like, that's awesome. This is actually a good idea.
Right.
He puts them on and goes, how does they work? He's like, oh, I filled them with glue.
Which makes sense in his inventor mind.
So he realizes Stimpy's just trying to make Ren happy and trying to make him proud of his inventions. He realizes that Ren is not happy and very mad, especially after the introduction of these 3 inventions. So he goes, I've got an idea. I'm going to use my gift of invention to make Ren a helmet.
Okay.
And this helmet is the happy helmet. So he's so obsessed with keeping Ren happy that in the most deranged way he forces him to be happy when this happy helmet actually works. So he puts his helmet on him and turns it up to like full, and it's forcing Ren to be happy even though he isn't. It's like the scene where he calls him down, he comes down the stairs, he's like, he's making the face like he's in the most pain of his life. So his pain keeps increasing even though it looks like he's being happy but not actually happy, and the animation catches the inner turmoil because you ever eaten something that you don't like but you're lying about you liking it?
Sure.
That's
Ren
times that's Ren times 20 in this, right?
Good supportive friend.
This episode is the source of the famous song Happy Happy Joy Joy.
Right. The
infamous Happy. So he plays it, and I didn't realize how funny this song was itself. Because
you heard the lyrics to it.
The lyrics are
the lyrics
out of this world.
Everyone only knows the chorus, but lyrics.
Yeah, so it's Happy Happy Joy by old pal Stinky Whizzleteats. That's the guy's name, right? And the lyrics are hilarious, and so without the context of the music, it's kind of like he intros of it. This is a song about a whale. No, this is a song about being happy. It's like this. I'll teach you to be happy. I'll teach your grandmother to suck eggs, right?
Because that makes
the little creature. This is throughout the song, right? It's like the little creatures of nature. They don't know that they're ugly. It's like the most. I never noticed this as a kid. I just remember the happy, joy, happy,
joy.
And then during the song, they're dancing, and Ren ends up going to like a cupboard and pulling out a hammer. And to the beat of the song, he's hammering this helmet off his head. It's like the bam, bam, and he's hammering it.
So you get the perfect sound effects, you get the music, you get the sight gag.
Also, you get the first appearance of twerking as Stimpy twerks in this. I don't know if you noticed this, but
I did not.
If you watch it, Stimpy's twerking, which is hilarious.
Cat twerks.
But the end result is he breaks the helmet off, and Ren becomes so angry once the helmet is off, he actually enters bliss. And he's so happy that he's so angry because he can be angry again, and he's happy about that.
He hammered it home.
So there's actually a happy ending to the story.
Fair enough.
Which is fucking amazing.
One of my hilarious favorite episodes is the Rubber Nipple Salesman episode.
Oh my god!
Season 2 episode. Season 2 episode 3, where essentially they just find themselves as part-time door-to-door rubber salesmen. And
rubber nipple salesman.
Rubber nipple salesman. So they have their own car, which I don't know how they got that, but they have their own car to drive around. Yeah. It does, and they find a house, which was great for it because they often either showed the full human, or they just showed them from the neck down.
Yeah.
And this was one of the neck down houses, and obviously he looked like a rich aficionado because he's in his Hugh Hefner smoking jacket. He's like, "Come on in, honey. Do I need more rubber nipples?"
It's hilarious.
Yeah, and she's like, "No, you haven't even used all the rubber nipples that you've had previously." And so, like, Ren's trying to figure out how to squeeze money of him, and Stimpy, just being Stimpy's like, "Well, actually, they'll be great for your knees. Or keep your knees warm," and just suctions them on. It's like, "Ooh, my knees feel so warm." And another kind of meta moment of the show. Like, I'm already laughing, but the fact that they sell all of their rubber nipples for $5. That's the money amount. And as soon as they're done, the customer boots them out into the cold. And then they end up on bowls, and they just have to buck and bronco their way into the sunset. So, like, the whole salesman of, like, you're only as good as your last sale. And once you have that sale, it's back to square one again. Yeah. Like, I don't want to say there are a lot of life lessons built into the show.
But there kind of
is.
And this is that's the third house after first two other houses that have other issues about them. So it's... Feel
free to go into those if you want.
We don't need to, but one of them has Mr. Horse in probably his funniest appearance in the show. I will say, remember the walrus thing? Call the police!
That was creepy.
So funny. What, do you have a walrus thing?
It's creepy.
Call the police.
Yeah, so one of the houses was a guy that looked like, I guess, a
fireman.
Or like, he seemed... I don't want to say cool.
No.
There was definitely something beneath the surface.
Mr. Horse. Mr. Horse was, like, suspicious of him. He thought that it was like, "Are you guys from the FBI?"
Yeah, well, he's already dressed up in, like, a bodysuit.
Yeah, he's rubbered all over.
Latexed out. Maybe the first instance of BDSM?
BDSM?
Yeah, that's what I say.
Did you say BDFM or BDSM?
I said S.
Okay.
GYF.
GFY.
GFY.
God damn it.
God damn it.
Another one I want to talk about was probably my favorite is the Powdered Toast Man episode, his solo adventure.
Oh my gosh.
This is funnier than I remember. I don't know why I didn't find this amazing. I know I like Powdered Toast Man. Yeah.
You should have got a movie.
It starts out with him just standing there with his hands on his hips, like in an everyday Superman pose. Right. And people just keep asking, like, "Who is this man? Why does he wear his underpants? What is he? Where is he from?" And he breaks the fourth wall. He's like, "Will you shut up? Stop asking me questions." It turns to him in his house where the toaster is his phone, and to answer the phone, he slams his head into the toaster to listen to the call. When he flies backwards with his ass out,
which makes sense.
So funny
because he's aerodynamically smaller at his toes,
little hips and a booty,
but he's got a huge chest and upper body. So I can see that working. But at the time, I was like, backwards?
Yeah.
But just laughing.
The one scene, actually, I want to talk about a whole lot of this, but one scene that's amazing is his first.
I think you do.
The first crime he's called to is there's a cat in a road, as a truck driving towards the cat.
Right.
So in order to get the cat out of, he goes, "Oh my god, let me use my raisin breath." So he spits out raisins into an airplane.
First he assesses.
Yeah, he assesses the situation. He sees what's going on, so he shoots down this airplane to hit the truck, so that it doesn't hit the cat. So rather than the cat becoming roadkill, he kills probably dozens of people.
Who are all happy that he saved the cat. They're like crawling out of the windows and the doors with like broken teeth and black eyes. Like, yeah! Hilarious.
He saves a chef from Muddy Wet Skipper.
We love. Oh, is that where he go? He saves...
Yes.
The chef.
It's amazing, yes.
Then the fish, then flies off, then it's like, wait.
No, the chef goes, but Powdered Toast Man. What about Muddy Mud Skipper?
He goes back and then ties up Muddy Mud Skipper.
So Muddy Mud Skipper has the chef tied to TNT.
Right.
Powdered Toast Man comes, saves the day, unties the chef, and the chef goes, "What about Muddy Mud Skipper?" He goes, "You're right." And he goes back to grab Muddy Mud Skipper, and he's about to fly with both of them, and he goes, "Wait a minute," and ties Muddy Mud Skipper to the TNT. He goes, "That's better."
And then flies off.
And flies off.
Great executive decision.
Amazing. When he's flying fast, the chef on his back, he goes, "Oh my god, you're going so fast." He goes, "Quick, cling tenaciously to my buttocks."
And he digs himself. He looks at it, and then he just buries his face in his cheeks. And then you get one of the amazing things that Ren and Stimpy does with the sight gag with him looking back.
Yeah, it's like,
and then look forward. Like no word of dialogue.
Nothing makes sense, and it's just amazing. Yeah,
it's just a face, and then they keep it moving.
A sound effect like.
Like he's really deep in those cheeks.
He helps out. It's funny you're fucking talking about.
Oh my gosh.
He helps out Ren and Stimpy eventually. He helps out the president, who gets his dick caught in his zipper, like while he's trying to take a leak.
He does.
It's fucking. He gets called for everything, and to get for that call, the powder from his toast head disappears, and he goes, "Oh my god, my powder's disappearing. This can only mean one thing, that the president is in trouble."
And the way that the president is in trouble,
he gets his
dick caught in his zipper, amazing.
Hilarious.
Amazing.
And the way he solves it, which I'm not going to spoil because you have to watch it, you motherfuckers. It's amazing.
You've seen it. We're just going to go through other episodes that were great because there's a little Stimpy's fan club, which is essentially Ren playing president and answering all the letters for Stimpy.
Right.
It's as funny as it sounds, and it's even as funnier when you watch it because the seething hate that comes from Ren is amazing. Fake Dad I fucking love, where they adopt this kind of ex-criminal as like a dad figure in their life, like just kind of a fish out of water. Makes sense.
Space Madness is a very popular episode as well. That's where they're in space and they talk about how astronauts can lose their mind, and of course Ren ends up losing his mind, and it's hilarious. Yes, it's really funny.
You got one more?
I've got a couple more. The Stimpy's Big Day is the very first episode, and that's where he wins a contest to become. He basically becomes a celebrity,
right? For
kitty litter, right? And he leaves Ren behind, and it's actually I think the only one that's a two-parter.
Oh.
Because the second part deals with it.
Right.
His coming back around. That's when the first appearance of Mr. Horse.
Okay.
But he becomes this famous celebrity, and he ends up turning down all this money to come back to Ren, and then Ren beats him up for it. I want Ren! And he turns down like $4 billion, something ridiculous.
Right.
To come back to Ren. He goes, "What did you do with the money? You freaking idiot!" Right?
Sven Hoek is a good one.
Sven Hoek is a good, where Ren's cousin comes to visit. Go ahead, you
talk about it. Comes to town. I was going to go through. There's so many good ones. Son of Stimpy is, I think, their Christmas episode with Santa Claus in there.
Yep. Fire Dogs. Did you watch Fire Dogs one?
Fire Dogs not bad.
Yep.
Great Outdoors I like.
Great Outdoors is good, yes.
And I was going to say the Royal Canadian Kilted Yaxman.
Yeah, you love that one.
Because it's just a shot at the Royal Canadian Mounties, and the fact that they have theme songs for everything.
Yeah. It's like this, the creativity that went into the show
shows.
Yeah.
And it's so rewarding for someone that loves comedy.
Even years later. One I do want to touch on before you go on. There was an episode that was banned.
Well, I was going to do the theme song before.
Okay, do the theme song for the band.
So, again, talking about theme songs, remember the royal anthem of the Kilted Yaxman? Our country reeks of trees. Our yaks are really large, and they smell like rotting beef carcasses. And we have to clean them up. After them and our saddles are sore, the best we can proudly wear women's clothing. And searing sands blow up our skirts. And buzzards soar overhead. And poisonous snakes devour us whole. Our bones will bleach in the sun. That's it. And we will probably go to hell. It didn't even rhyme. But the song made sense because at a moment in the episode, there's a little bouncing ball on the lyrics, and you can sing along. And I caught myself again singing along. Yeah. Oh God.
The stupidity.
The show's amazing.
Like I was saying before, I rudely cut off Dank. Is that
you idiot? Fuck you, idiot!
There is a banned episode within this called Man's Best Friend, and it's from the second season. It was banned for excessive violence, which there is in it, especially for a kids show.
Right.
It's basically this guy named George Licker, we've talked about before. He adopts Ren and Stimpy from a pet store. They don't say anything for the first half of the episode. It's just George Licker talking.
Right.
He brings them in, and he is a fucking character, and the animation makes him all the more zany. He adopts them, and he tries to discipline them, and he talks about like he speaks in a way that's making fun of what he's doing. So he's like, nothing makes a man more happy than to adopt lower life forms, right? And he's like, and nothing makes a man angrier when lower life forms jump on his loved non-life structures like a couch. That's how he so he disciplines them in the sense that if you jump on my couch, I'm gonna fuck you up. Now jump on my couch, and they're kind of like what? No, we can't. It's like jump on my couch, make me mad before you make me really mad. And it's like...
such a masochist. And then you find out years later that essentially John Kay was writing about his father.
Yeah, George Licker is apparently his father. Yeah.
So, you know, there's that whole level that we're probably not going to unpack to depths.
No, we're not going to do that.
But we'll talk about how great this was when it was untouched by the executives kind of putting their finger in.
Right.
And one of the perfect instances of where executives went too far, the theme song was originally played by a young Kurt Cobain.
Which is crazy. I didn't know that until just when you told me.
Until I told you that.
Yeah.
They performed it, and it was set up for Nickelodeon and Ren and Stimpy to use, and it wasn't until the executives kind of stepped in and said, no, we're going to turn this down and probably go for something that's a little more kind of commercially made, that years later that you're like, fuck you, like this would have like pushed this even farther into the spectrum, like to have a theme song by maybe one of the best guitarists, one of at least
songwriters and
the most transcendary,
and then the fact that he passed away shortly after this, like,
just way to miss that. So I really hope that at some point they release that material. Like, I'd love to hear that version of the song. I don't know if that's ever touched the light of day, but that's another story of like how this was such lighting in the bottle that I don't even know if the executives knew what they had. That's why the less that they touched it, the more kind of fun shit came out of it. Even to the point that we figured out, or they finally released, where in fact that Ren and Stimpy were living. It is, yes, the city of Hollywood, but the Hollywood isn't the one from LA or California. It's Hollywood, Yugoslavia. Yes, that's correct. They live in Yugoslavia, which could help kind of progress the fact that maybe all these talking and weird kind of Chernobyl life creatures are going around. But that's more to the creator of like, and I'm just gonna throw them in Hollywood, Yugoslavia.
You watch this as a kid, you don't know. Like, I didn't know this.
That wouldn't even factor in. Like, if they told me Yugoslavia, that'd go in one ear and out the other without even realizing. Now when I read this as an adult, I'm like, Yugoslavia? Like, hilarious.
Hey kids! Do you ever use the washroom and think, I gotta wash my ass? Well, now introducing the brand new from Sluggo Coal, your very own attachable bidet. You fill it with saliva, your own saliva, hopefully, maybe your neighbor's dog. You press a button after you go, dookie, and it washes your bum. The bidet from Sluggo. We ran through some episodes, and there was actually a movie proposed for this.
Really?
And it was turned down. There was supposed to be a movie a couple years after release.
Right.
And Nickelodeon was like, no, we're not doing that.
That would have made gangbusters.
Yeah.
Although, I don't know if it would have got the R rating. Or the PG. Like, they would need to get the PG-13 rating.
This was an adult cartoon disguised as a kid's cartoon, but also worked as a kid's cartoon. So it was...
This was also...
You know, it's...
We haven't talked about the legacy, but this is... Obviously, the opening doors for Beavis and Butthead, Dexter's Laboratory,
SpongeBob
all that.
directly,
But this is Adult Swim's, like... meat and potatoes. Everything that this show is what a whole network is now. Like, we just make shit for adults. If kids get to see that, cool. But you know who it's actually aimed for? It's aimed for all those stoner kids that are still up. And fucking these guys wrote the book on it.
Well, like this SpongeBob is, I would argue, a spiritual successor to this show, but it was more toned down, so it lasted longer, and all the stoners in high school fucking love SpongeBob.
Muddy Mudfish is Plankton.
There you go.
Plankton is Muddy Mudfish.
Muddy Mudskipper.
Doesn't matter.
That guy.
Fascinating.
But yeah, no, it directly. Mike Judge talks about how it
shaped a lot of his TV shows. Yeah,
Beavis and Butthead is like, we wouldn't have made the show, wouldn't have been able to be made. Did I say that right? Without Ren and Stimpy.
And then ends up taking Billy West to put him in another one of the shows, King of the Hill.
Yeah.
So, goddamn.
The show, like, whether you like it or not, the influence and the trend that it started is undeniable. Like, you can't have a lot of these shows without Ren and Stimpy.
Correct.
First.
And I don't know why you wouldn't like it. It's better than bad. It's good.
Fuck, that was good. That was like...
Not often do you give me kudos on air. Yeah. Usually you wait till after the fact.
Yeah, no, that was good.
Thank you, sir.
That was undeniable.
Well, nobody cares.
This segment is called Heroes from the Hat. Toots, where we take 2 heroes from this hat,
nips,
and put them against each other in this 3rd round matchup.
I hope this isn't women that we pull now.
I don't know who's gonna be. But I do know that they're playing horse.
The basketball game.
Yes, the basketball game.
In
horse.
which you trick shot in order to win.
Correct.
If this is women, we can change it to horse.
Ooh.
It's been a long round 3, guys.
I don't know.
It's been a long round 3.
Woof.
Oof. Your reaction to that. Oof.
Oh.
You didn't know if you were.
I had nothing.
You didn't know if it was alright for you to laugh or if you had to power through.
I was just. Woof. All right, here we go. Take your name.
Pulling from this hat. This is thinning out. The numbers are thinning out.
I got Psylocke.
I got Iron Man.
Psylocke and Iron Man.
Looks like we're playing horse.
In a game of horse.
If there's any whore, it's definitely Tony Stark.
Yeah, he's a massive whore.
Wait, so I don't.
Someone gets around too, though.
We don't know that.
No, well, I've read a couple comments where she gets around.
Maybe she just mind fucks.
She might, but I know her and well, she was with. She was with. I'm down for that mindset.
There it is. Yeah, I was waiting for the dead press. Waiting for the dead press. Speaking of dead presidents, who did I choose again?
Tony.
Yeah, he's dead.
Yeah. I don't know how you can't operate with all that armor on you because there's no.
Wait, what are we playing? Horse.
Horse, yeah.
Oh fuck!
I'm way more nimble.
Do I get to surgically create the basketball that we're using?
No.
Do I get to surgically create the net in which the basketball is going in?
No.
What?
You have no creation here. You have no creative control.
What do I get to put the Stark Technologies stamp on, or Stark Industries? What do I get to put my spin on?
Nothing.
That's not what I signed up for.
Yeah, that's Tony Stark. No. You got nothing.
I make cutting edge everything. Do I even get to make my own sneaker?
I mean, it's part of the suit.
No. Like,
you don't have to make anything for this. No, you're using what you're wearing.
I'm making a basketball shoe to go over the boot of my robot.
Nah, son.
I need to have the grips and the.
No. No.
Is this in court or street ball?
In court.
Oh. So it's gonna be like the McDonald's commercial with Magic Johnson and Larry Bird. It's like off the backboard, hit the scoreboard. Gonna hit the concession stand, going in.
Yeah.
So we're just in the stands, just talking shit?
Maybe. That's how.
I have more of a chance then.
We're not gonna talk shit. You gotta go through.
Well, no. I mean, I can set up the premise. But,
yeah.
And then like the McDonald's commercial, we just cut away. We don't actually see the shot being happened.
No, we see the shots.
No. Well, then I don't want to do that.
No. I think, so is Tony like he's pulling himself out?
No. Which team am I playing for? Am I the Houston Rockets?
Fuck.
Or am I the...
Jesus Christ. Yeah, the isotopes. Sprinkle isotopes.
Where were you when we were socking dinghies? Well, I don't think I have a wicked jump shot. I'm pretty sure I can slang rock, but...
Yeah, because you can't fly either. There's no flying, there's no cheat. You just wear the armor or you're not wearing the armor.
Oh, that's worse.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd have a better shot not wearing the armor.
No, you couldn't.
But I think I'd have an overshot with the armor on.
Yeah.
Have we proven it? So Psylocke's coming out in a fucking swimsuit and heels?
One of her costumes. Yeah.
Still probably win.
Yeah, she still win. Because she knows she fights in those things, so tell me she can't do a layup.
Off the backboard.
Mm-hmm. Off the front of the rim. Off the top of the backboard and in.
Can I use
bounce.
Can I use pepper?
No. No, man.
Off of pepper. Back off of pepper. Onto pepper. Pepper in short shorts.
I do like pepper in short shorts.
Which pepper are we talking about?
The one in short shorts.
They assume you're talking about comic book pepper, which is not what you're looking for.
No.
So, don't touch me.
A little closer.
Don't touch me.
A little closer than that.
You have a WHO, and I have WHORE.
So you're not gonna do shit in the armor.
Anything I'm doing has no finesse, so...
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Trick shot's probably not going to be strong suit.
So we're taking Psylocke.
Strong suit? Wait, can I make a Mark 356?
No, man.
Can I make a Space Jam
No, you're
armor?
not making anything. You just have an armor.
Oh, so I have a basketball armor.
No,
I do.
You know.
I have a just do it armor. My best friend's black.
It works.
I would assume that he's like, yo, can you make me some kicks or some like, I got a War Machine like Space Jam suit. Actually, that'd be pretty cool.
That'd be cool. You mean Space Jam too?
Yeah. I hope Kawhi's not in.
Psylocke wins.
Yeah,
He
fine.
goes on semifinals.
You're all.